And now for the people that haven't met Christophe, I'll get you to talk, you know the deal, talk just a little about who you are, what you do, and then Chris offers the possibilities of what you can do with hypnosis, man.
Well, that's that leaves no pressure on my shoulders tonight. So
We're putting the pressure on. Nah, it's all
you got to deliver, mate. You got to deliver.
You gotta deliver. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I see some familiar faces. I see some new faces. So welcome. Now, I asked Justine to have an interactive session. So there's the chat. There's possibility to ask questions, to interact, because otherwise it would be quite boring. I think. So please, if you have a question, if you have something to share, put it on the chat or raise your arm if you would like to say something. That's always easier, because otherwise it's past bedtime almost, I think, for you. So otherwise you will fall asleep.
I know.
Mind you, I had a big deal with falling asleep just in session. Was it good? Yes.
Now, hello. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Christophe Dierckx. I'm living in Belgium, and I work as a hypnotherapist, also as a trainer in hypnosis in Belgium and the Netherlands. And a little background why I ended in this beautiful realm of hypnosis. By the age of 30, I had sleep. I developed sleep apnea, so I became really ill, but really ill. By the time I had to, in the morning when I should have had a good night's sleep, the day began, and I was so tired. So that was kind of a problem, and I was really depressed. No energy at all, nothing. To make a really long story short, I met an older man who started to channel, who started to give some important insights when I was in a gym here in my local town, and something started to shift in my physical body. I started to feel love, an enormous amount of love. From that day on, everything shifted for me. And I asked this person, what should I do? Because I feel really abnormal. I had nothing to do with spirituality. I had nothing to do with self-development at all, nothing. I used to work back then as a risk manager in the commodities area. And I felt really strange. So I started a course in NLP, and afterwards different aspects of hypnosis, Ericksonian hypnosis, direct hypnosis, regression. But my sleep apnea was a little bit improved, but not yet better. And once I got in touch with a Canadian lady, Ines Simpson, I was able to get rid of my sleep apnea. So it dawned on me, which was quite a surprise. And I thought, well, if I am the one who created the sleep apnea, I should spread the word and help other people help themselves to let go of their old limiting beliefs and old physical problems. And that was a new journey, and it's now I'm here. The rest is history. So that's a little bit a quick background. Now, some people know me, and they know me as the trainer of Simpson Protocol, also in Belgium and the Netherlands. But not everyone here is knows what the Simpson Protocol is. Now, I'm not going to teach anything about SP, but I guess you're all hypnotists. Is that correct?
Yeah.
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 Okay. And you all have a practice, or are some who do not have a
I-
practice?
I
No,
do.
some. Okay. Now, to make this an interesting evening for you, is there something which you would like to discuss about hypnosis, or something which you would like to learn about hypnosis? I'm not saying I know everything, but I may have some insights for you. So if there is any topic or anything at all, please put it on the chat, or raise your arm, and we'll have a quick discussion. Okay.
Okay.
Dil,
Right.
is that correct, the pronunciation? Dil? Yeah?
Yes, hi. Hi.
Okay.
I have been approached by someone to help someone else with a problem that I don't know how to handle. Performance anxiety.
Okay.
And he believes that when he is with his partner, so his partner has told me about her partner who has performance anxiety, and he believes that when he's with his partner, he's very, very attracted to her, but he doesn't get a hard-on. And he thinks that it's because of medications. He believes that it's because of medications. He's had a heart problem, and he thinks it's because of all the medications he's been having that has caused this. So I'm wondering whether it is the medications that is causing this, or can we turn it around? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting, and we'll discuss that. Marissa, you also have a question or a topic?
Yes, I do have a question. So just we always put you in a hard place, Christophe, whenever you come. So I'm willing to offer my hand and let you know I'm a trained and qualified sex therapist, and I'm more than happy to help you with the technical side of the answers to that questions that are not hypnosis. Right, I'm learning hypnosis, but I have other training that might help. Now, my question for you is, you see, as hypnotherapists, we carry this huge potential to help people, and I do that all the time. But when it comes to us, we seem to, to be oblivious to our problems. Like, right now, Justin helped me solve a problem that I was carrying since May of last year. So is there any strategic work or any clue that you might give so that we can become more alert to our problems and we solve them ourselves?
Okay, let's discuss this also. So there's lots of input for me. I see also Wayne has put something on the chat. And let's start with Justine.
and if we can finish with one thing I love about Christophe is he's very open to possibility and experimenting. So talk about a little bit of that at the end, about how you're willing just to you just get in there and push the boundaries of what is kind of, yeah. So I think that's a cool thing to mention at the end too, because he's the man at that. He won't say no to anyone for anything. he just goes, oh, well, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have lots of input. So let's start with Wayne's question. He has some questions about metaphors, but also on the difference between the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. So let's start with that, because that's really the basic ideas in the realm of hypnosis in where I work. The conscious mind for me is the overactive thing in my brain, which is always on active and gives new inputs. It's my rational mind, and that's always thinking and giving new ideas. Now the subconscious mind is the marvelous part of me, which does everything automatically. It lets my heart beat, it controls my breathing, but it also, if I have a belief, my subconscious mind will make sure that belief will become reality. If I have a belief, my subconscious mind will make sure that belief will become reality. That is important. So the subconscious mind seems to be something which executes. It makes things work, it makes things happen. Whether it is beneficial for me or not, it just acts. It creates the whole day. So if this morning when I got up, for me, I live in Belgium, we have a 12-hour difference, so it's morning for me. When I put my socks on, I first put my left foot. Why did I first take my left foot and not my right foot to put my socks on? Because if I would put my right sock first on, I would fall over. Now, why is that? Because it has become a habit. I was raised by my grandparents, and probably when I was a small kid, my grandmother has told me, Christophe, put your socks on. And I said, I don't know how to do that. She said, come here. Lift your foot. No, your other foot. Why the other foot? Because it was easier for her to put that sock on that specific foot and not the other one. So it was already a habit for her. And I was learned in that way to put my left foot first and not my right foot. But I have no idea consciously why this is. This is because at a young age I was trained to do that. So the subconscious mind executes something which is completely natural. It's in a flow, but I have absolutely no idea why I'm doing that. So if I take my jacket, I put my left arm first in the jacket and not my right arm. So why is that? Because I learned myself that way. So the whole day I'm doing things and I'm not having a clue why I'm doing that. And that is the same for you. Now, this is interesting, because if we do something which is not beneficial for us, we can ask the subconscious mind how to rearrange things. Sometimes there is a waffle with chocolate. We Belgians, we love chocolate. And I think, I don't want a waffle. And still my hand goes to the waffle with chocolate and it goes to my mouth. But consciously, I don't want a waffle, but it's fully automatically. So that's kind of interesting. Why do I take the waffle? Why don't I take a glass of water? It has become an attitude. It has become a habit. So the subconscious mind executes something. So every morning when you wake up, there's this energy which flows through you, and it pauses at a certain level where all your beliefs are. And that's like a map, and it opens the map, and the energy looks in the map and sees, what are the beliefs today which Christophe has? It's not feeling worthwhile. Okay, closes the map and executes something that day which provides me an experience based on I'm not worthy. So if I go to a therapist, if I go to Justine and she has an intervention with me which is successful, maybe I'm worthy from that moment. So the next day, this energy flows through me, opens the map and sees, Christophe went to Justine, so he is worthy now. Okay, closes the map and executes an experience where I am worthy. So at that moment, maybe I can get a correct job, or I can get a new, I don't know, a new car, or whatever it is. But it can only happen when the map, all the beliefs are allowing that. So see, so the subconscious mind just executes stuff. Now, Wayne, is that okay for you? The difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind?
Yeah, and what about the super conscious or higher consciousness?
Now, the superconscious mind is one step further. The superconscious mind is attached to every human being, even our politicians, and it is a wise part which has an overview, a helicopter view of all stuff we ever have done and maybe will do, even past lives, this life. It is a wisdom which you can use in order to verify stuff and in order to help you to do stuff. But it will not execute something for you. The execution is done by the subconscious mind. Or if you do something rationally, it is instructed by the conscious mind. But the subconscious mind doesn't do stuff. It can help you to organize stuff, or it can help you to verify why you do something, but it will not do it for you. It can help you, but it will not do it for you. The free will is stored in the conscious and the subconscious mind. So you are an individual expression, a unique expression of, let's call it God or source, or whatever your belief system is. The subconscious mind is interacting with everything which is, and is loving, is caring, is supporting, but we need to do our stuff. It will not organize our life for us. We need to do that by ourselves. We have the choice. So that is the difference between the conscious, subconscious, and the superconscious. Now, most people do not have a clue they have a connection with the superconscious mind. They don't believe it, they don't know it. Maybe they want to have a connection, but they don't know how to get a connection. That's something else. There might be a blind spot on that. I think with most people there is a blind spot on the superconscious mind. Now, I don't really like hypnosis. I think it's a dumb word with a lot of limiting beliefs attached to hypnosis, and a lot of people have fear to the definition of hypnosis. But the one thing is for sure, by practicing hypnosis, we can access certain brain waves. And when we have the correct brain waves, we can work with the subconscious mind. We can work with pain. We can work with the superconscious mind. We have access to everything and all of us. So what is hypnosis for me? It is bypassing the critical factor in order to establish a new supporting belief. So what is the critical factor for me? It is something which is attached to the subconscious mind, which protects all our beliefs. So if I say, if I have a discussion with someone who smokes, I can tell verbally, why do you smoke? It stinks, it costs a lot of money. And say, sure. It goes in on one ear and out on the other ear, and they take another cigarette and they lit it. So the advice is blocked by the critical factor. Now let's do a small experiment. I will ask you a question. Please please sense what's going on internally with you. Okay, here we go. This is a football. This little thing is a football. Now, what is the feeling if you understand the question? Probably really quick, in matter of a second, you go inside and you access a database of about a pen and also a football. It seems, well, it's not a football, because the definition of a football is something else according to your database. So you say, no, it's rather a pen. So you block my suggestion. Is that correct? And that goes really quick, really quick. Now, if you were a child and I was already an adult and I would have taught you this is a football, so the definition of this thing is a football, you would have believed it. Once this belief, once this definition of this thing was established in the subconscious mind, it was protected by the critical factor. Jesus says in the Bible, it takes 3 days for me to build a temple. 3 days. That's it. It's not put in the Bible because he had a construction thing. No, it's literally. You need 72 hours or 3 days. If you can believe your belief for 72 hours, the belief becomes dominant and the critical factor protects the belief. Yeah? So from that moment on, that belief is dominant and the subconscious mind will execute that belief. Now, why did I take my pen? Oh yeah. So the critical factor is like, nowadays you need passwords for everything. You need password for your Facebook account, you need a password for your bank account, you need password for every single software or whatever. Well, your mind protects all dominant beliefs with a password. And in order to change your old belief, you need to get around the protector of the mind. And that is why hypnosis is so beneficial, because if we can put someone in a trance, we can get around of the critical factor. And although we don't know the exact password, because of the deep trance, there is no password needed, and we can start working. Now, from the moment we can put someone in trance, magic happens. Everything is possible. Now, everything is a lot. Can you imagine that? I mean, everything is possible. We can do regular stuff. We can ask, or if someone can stop smoking, but we can also do magic. We can also ask if the smoke or the cigarette has done some damage internally in the physical body, and we can ask the cooperation of the subconscious mind to rearrange certain cells and to help our clients with physical health. But because there is a superconscious mind, we can also ask if we can establish a connection with the superconscious mind. And we can ask if it will join our hypnosis session. And we can ask if it can help us clarify what the hell is going on with my client. Now, the ones who know the Simpson protocol, we use idiomotorical responses. We use a yes finger and a no finger. And once we have established the deep trance, the superconscious mind can communicate with us with a yes signal and a no signal. So as long as we ask closed questions, we get a yes or a no answer. Now, there are a number of people here in the virtual meeting room who don't need yes and no fingers. They can actually verbally express the superconscious mind. Now, you don't have the same screen as I am, but I see a lot of people on one row who can actually verbally express the superconscious mind, who can channel. Now that is interesting, because then the information you get is really specific. We can also, because we have set up trance, we have set up the connection with the superconscious mind, we can also ask if we can make a connection with other living beings, other consciousness. We can make a connection with an animal. We can make a connection with everything which is alive or everything which has consciousness. So the possibilities are immense, are infinite. Now that is interesting. That's probably why Justine says, well, at the end, make sure you say something about experiments or working with challenging clients. So let's do that at the end. But I want you to know that it is possible that from the moment your client goes in trance, everything is possible. Everything. Now, I like to combine hypnosis with spirituality. Now, why? Because the deep trance allows the connection with the superconscious mind. I am able to get honest feedback. Honest. If I ask something and my client is in trance, a wise part can answer which is really honest and doesn't say a lie. No, the answer is honest. And I want an honest answer because my client pays me in order to get rid of a problem, in order to establish a new belief, in order to proceed to health. So I need honesty to work with. That's important. I need to bypass a critical factor. That's why I use hypnosis. No. Dil, you know someone who has a challenging issue, correct? Now you can work with that on by several means. I mean, you can work with that person directly. You can hypnotize that person, and you can ask why, for God's sake, he has that issue. And once you know why, once you have a verification what's going on, you can ask to deal with that. Now, this is therapy. This is something which you know. But what about if you can use the hypnosis to work from the ideal outcome and move backwards to the present moment? So let's discuss this, because this is really interesting. Once your client is in trance, everything is possible. Now, I have a belief that every thing you can touch, material, whether it is alive or not, has a building block. For example, my mouse from my computer, it exists of some molecules. The molecules, they exist of atoms. The atoms exist of even smaller particles, and those smaller particles probably exist of more smaller particles. It's called a holon. A holon. Everything is part of something bigger, and the bigger part exists of something, of a number of smaller things. Yeah, for example, a human. I am part of this group on the Zoom call. I'm part of all human beings on the planet Earth, and the planet Earth is part of all planets in our solar system, which is part of all planets in all universes. So every small thing exists on even more smaller things, and the small thing is part of something bigger. That's called a holon. Now, if you, even the Greek people, they knew that there were really small particles which are the same of all material stuff. They didn't have a microscope. Nowadays we have a huge microscope, and we can see the little particles. Now, the Greek didn't have the physical material, but they had the understanding of it. Now, this substance the Greek called ether. Ether, just a definition, just a name, but it's the smallest particle, the smallest building block of a material thing. Now, this ether, this is a substance which can be and is influenced by energy, and per definition also by our mind. The ether can be influenced by our mind. The ether can be influenced by energy. The Greek knew this. In the 20th century, the physicists Bohr and Braun were the first to discover this in quantum physics. That actually, I think it was Braun who managed to prove that energy can influence matter.
Yep.
Energy can influence matter. Now, that is interesting, because if we put our client in trance, everything is possible. So per definition, we can also interact with matter. Now, I did not invent this. This is old school esoterics, old school mysticism. In mysticism, they say, if you can believe your own belief, it will be manifested. If you can believe your own belief, it will happen. The only thing is, you might need some time. Now, we have a subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind can only interact with us with a feeling, with a sensation. If you are afraid, you will feel it. It's not a text in front of your eyes. I am scared of heights. No, you actually feel it in your physical body. The subconscious mind can only interact with feelings, with sensations. The sensation which you have will interact with the ether. The sensation which you have will be used as a GPS in order for you in which reality you will end up. I mean, if you feel sadness, maybe tomorrow, by this feeling of sadness, you will generate a happening where someone else is involved based on the sadness, and it will recreate itself. Now, if you feel happy, maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, the GPS will take the feeling of happiness and guide you to a reality based on happiness. That's something else. So that's why we go to the therapist or to the hypnotherapist. I feel scared of heights and I continue to regenerate that same feeling. Please help me. Okay, that's the reason why they come to us. Because they have a sensation of feeling which they want to get rid of. Now, if it is possible to interact with this ether, these small building blocks, and mysticism says, well, you know what, human being, if you actually can believe the things you believe, it will become reality. So let's combine these two stuff. Mysticism says we're back from the ideal. So Dil, if your friend or your client actually can believe the problem is gone and he can live by it, it is an attitude, the problem is also gone. But that might be a bridge too far for this person. He wants it. There is willpower involved. He wants something, but at this moment, the person cannot believe it's already in order, correct? There is a gap in between, yeah? Now, mysticism says first there is an impression where you use a drowsy state. What is a drowsy state? That is a level of trance, correct? Use a drowsy state in order for you to experience as if the thing you would like to have is already happening. You can already sense it. You can already feel it. Mysticism says once you can do that, let it go, have patience, and at a certain moment reality shifts and you will actually live the thing you wanted to have. That is what they say, and I think they are correct. Now the problem is we with our huge rational mind intervene and we say in the middle of that progress, when is it going to happen? I don't have all day, I want it now. So I'm a little bit frustrated. Now, the feeling of frustration also interacts with the ether and will regenerate the same problem. The feeling of frustration intervenes with the manifestation of the ideal.
But isn't that normal? Isn't that normal that a person would feel frustrated?
Whether is it normal or not, is it beneficial for us? We seem to create the whole day. The whole day we create. So isn't it time that we use that magnificent system in our benefit? Because it is a benevolent system. Isn't it about time These teachings are so old. Probably even the Egyptians, they knew about this system. Thousands of years. And what do we do in 2022? We can send someone to the moon, but we cannot believe something is already true. So with all our magnificent technology, this simple thing is still out of reach for us. But in hypnosis, it's possible. Why? Because the dominant, the old dominant idea is set aside, and there is a possibility to plant a new dominant idea, correct? You can bypass the critical factor. Now, I know this may seem ridiculous when perhaps you haven't enough money to buy a car or to express your sexual feelings with your partner. But you must take a radical stand if you're going to succeed. Yeah? Remember, you are dealing with an invisible substance, the ether, which, although not conscious of your troubles, is waiting to shape itself around your thoughts and bring into your life the things about which you are thinking. Yeah? It is ready to shape itself around your belief. Now, because you have the benefits of the trance, it's much easier for you. And that is why it's so important to keep your mind off your troubles and on the ideal. So, even if you have no idea how to do therapy, even if you have no idea about the specificness of the root causes of the sexual thing, you can perform the old school mysticism and you can help your client in trance, believing that the issue is already gone and that he can perform any sexual act he would like to have, correct?
So, so basically future pacing?
Yes, but he has to feel it, not just a vision.
So could we future pace and then have him become that person and experience those feelings, like first watch himself and then get in there and experience?
I will make it more easy for you. Once someone is in deep trance, everything is possible. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you agree? Now, the only thing you need to do is when someone congratulates you, for example, with a handshake, says, "Hey, mister, congratulations. Congratulations, now you have full control over your expression of sexuality. Congratulations." The handshake is a positive hallucination. And what is a positive hallucination? It's one of the deepest levels of trance. If you go to a show hypnotist and some people are on stage, someone might sit there and the hypnotist says, "Well, there is a little monkey on your lap." And the visitors, they all start to laugh because the person on stage is sitting there and, "Ah, what a nice monkey. Isn't he so nice?" Now, what is reality? I mean, I, as a visitor, may laugh because there is no monkey for me as a spectator. But is that the only truth? I have no idea. Because in the experience of the one who is in trance, there is a monkey on his lap. And the monkey is real. He can touch it, he can feel it, he can interact with the monkey, correct? So in his experience, the monkey is real. Now, what is true? I think both items are true. the monkey, and from the spectator's view, no monkey at all, but a funny situation. That is a positive hallucination. The person in trance experiences something which the audience doesn't experience. Yeah, it's one of the deepest level of trance you can have. Now, if someone can shake your hand in trance and and you can actually feel the sensation of the handshake, that is a positive hallucination. And it is easy because our mind is not trained yet to focus a long time on something specific. Our mind is not trained yet to focus on all kinds of details. Yeah? So if you say, well, visualize this and visualize that, maybe that person isn't well trained enough to keep all those separate details alive. But focusing on the handshake, on the sensation of the feeling is really easy. You don't need that much energy to do that. And it only takes you a few seconds. But if you actually can feel it, it becomes your reality, correct? You are, as a client, one moment, as a client, you are not in the chair of the therapist anymore. You are in a reality where someone is shaking your hand. That is important because your critical factor needs to be bypassed. You need to sell that idea to your subconscious mind, and the idea can only be sold when the subconscious mind is said, oh damn, that's real. Okay, I mean, I can believe it. It's true. I've felt a handshake. It's true. I'm in. So only someone congratulates you if something is happened, correct? That's in our culture. We don't get a handshake and say, well, congratulations, in 10 years you will get a new car. No. The car is already there, correct? That's when someone congratulates you. I apologize for my English because my native tongue is Dutch. If I say weird stuff, just apologize. Justine.
Yeah, so the analogy is beautiful, talking about what you were saying. So you know how you say that energy comes through? If you were to ask superconscious to clear the emotion of frustration before you shook the hand that was holding back, you wouldn't say frustration because you don't know it's that. But if you were to ask to clear whatever emotion was coming in to stop that flow before you then shook the hand that it is done, does that make sense?
Justine, of course, because then you do your job as a therapist. But
but of course you don't need it.
I'm only opening your mind because once you can establish deep trance, everything is possible. So the normal thing is a person with a problem goes to you, you do the therapy, and at the end the root causes are gone, so the physical body reacts differently and he can perform his sexual thing. Yeah, that is the normal stuff. But I would like to open your minds because at the end of your session you can do this, because this is only 30 seconds maybe. If your client can go in self-hypnosis, he or she can do this little exercise. It's fun, it's easy, and it's quick. And it will make sure that the ether, the little substances, are influenced by our feeling. You see? We can use mysticism with hypnosis, and it's fairly easy, and it works. It works for thousands of years. Why should we make things too complicated? A good session for me, a successful session, is a session where my client was able to get rid of the root cause of the problem and has confidence that all will be well. Because with a handshake, there is an impression, it's already done. But then you need patience. You need some time before the expression in the physical reality is happening. First, the impression, a little bit of time where you should have some patience, and then the expression, correct? Not everything happens instantly. Hey, I want a new car. Boom! The next second the car is on top of my roof. No, that would be awkward. No, you need to have a little patience. If someone is pregnant, you don't expect the baby to come out at the second month. No, you wait 9 months and then the baby comes. So there is an incubation period of 9 months in regards of pregnancy, correct? If the baby comes out at 2 months, it's a huge problem. No? You wait 9 months. So there is a little bit patience. Now, in the meantime, what is patience? Patience in this case is a full understanding of the process. Patience is understanding that everything will be set in place. Everything will be rearranged. Why? Because your sensation, your feeling interacts with the ether, with the small substance. So in the meantime, if you start worrying again, the problem will be re-attracted like a magnet. Boom, again.
Yeah, that is exactly my point. I mean, when someone, I mean, even if I can get that man to come for a session, they expect that there'll be changes, and then we ask them to give it time, but every time he tries and it doesn't happen, that's going to happen, that he's going to feel discouraged and he's going to start believing that it didn't work.
Yeah, because why? First of all, he doesn't understand it. Please explain the system. Please explain the theory behind, so he understands. Yeah? Because he can only let go. Your session might be so world class. If your client is back in the frustration, the problem is re-attracted again. Now, do you hear the repetition?
So when we are asking them to have patience, so basically we are explaining that this will take time, and we are trying to say that, so of course the client is going to try, and we are telling him not to be disappointed if it doesn't happen.
Bill, step back, hear yourself, step back. If you as a therapist cannot believe this is possible, you interact with the ether, with the small substances, and you will create a situation which is based on that.
True.
So you create a situation where your client cannot let go of his or her stuff. So there is an interaction between you and the client. So it is important also for you to believe that it is possible, correct? Because otherwise you will create a different reality. I mean, there are two polarities. You can have a session which is having an end result which you don't want, and you can have a session with the most magnificent end result instantaneously. Yeah? So there are two polarities. Now, between those two polarities, there is different shades of possibilities, correct? There are billions of possibilities. Now, if you watch a movie, what is a movie? It's no more than 24 pictures per second. It's a static picture, but if you have 24 static pictures in 1 second, you see something moving. That is a film. Agree? Now, what do we do as a human being? We step, every second we step through different possibilities through billions of realities, billions. And because it's one after the other, but there are many in a second, we see something moving. We experience time, we have movement. Yeah. Now, the feeling is the GPS in which reality you will go to. The feeling, the sensation is the GPS to where you go, in which aspect of those both extremes you end up to. Correct? Now, this is for you, but this is also for your client. So make sure you, as a therapist, has a habit. The thing I do are well, and my client has the possibility to let go of his or her problem. That is the first step, because you will co-create also. Once, as I told you before, a decent session is a session where my client has been able to let go of the root cause, but also has confidence all will be well. Now, for example, the handshake, if it is performed correct, your client is not sitting in the chair. Your client has the experience someone is shaking his hand. So that is, he can feel it. Once you can feel it, it is true for your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind doesn't care what you believe or what you don't believe. It just executes. Yeah? It doesn't say, well, this is no good for you, or this is good for you. It just executes. So if it can believe it is true, it will execute. Yeah? That is the difference. And because your client can feel it, can sense it, they will come out of trance and they say, wow, that was special. I actually could feel the handshake. I was there. Someone was congratulating me. Now, maybe the person needs to do that a few more times at home. But at a certain moment, I will promise you, it's not necessary anymore to perform this little act, because you will feel it has become an attitude, and your client will live a life from the ideal. It's a certainty. Maybe I need some patience, that's something else, but I know this is going to be okay. It's already happening. And that is a good session.
So when you said do this at the end of the session.
Yeah. But if you only have 1 minute, do this.
Yeah. So for the session, should I be giving suggestions? Should I regress? What would I do for a session like this? I mean, should I change his beliefs that it's the medication that is causing this?
Don't go into the details. Just perform your little act. If you only know direct suggestions, do that. If you know how to do a regression, slam the feelings. If you know how to do SP, do SP. Whatever you are trained in and whatever you feel comfortable with. Just do your stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do a lot of stuff, so that's why I'm getting confused. I mean, I could change his belief. I'm thinking if it's regression, how do you regress to what? Because this is just a belief he has that the medication is affecting this.
Yeah, in my case, if I would have such a client, I would bring up the feeling which is attached to the problem, slam it to the original experience where it has started. Maybe that's a young guy of the age of 14, who knows. Let go of the sensation and go back.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I would do it. I'm not saying you should do that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now let's see. Justine, earlier question from the so do some people not allow their subconscious to change?
Thank you, Christophe.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Everything is possible. So yeah, sure. Some people don't allow their subconscious to change, and it's called resistance. Resistance. What a wonderful world. Now, you know what? Because you put someone in trance, it's also possible to find out whether there is resistance. It's just a question. Once you have established idiomotoric responses, you can ask any question you would like and say, hey, subconscious or superconscious, if you work with the superconscious, my client, does he have resistance to do this work? Yes or no? Yeah? Okay. And when did it start? Was it started at an early age? Yeah? Well, go back to the first experience where the resistance has started and work with the resistance. Once the resistance is gone, go back to the original thing you would like to change in the subconscious mind. Simple. Some people even have a small frame to operate in. They say, I'm not worthy to be healthy. I'm not worthy to be successful in business. I cannot be successful in the thing I am passionate about. That's a little frame. Now, remember, in the morning, the energy comes through, opens them up and says, oh, he's not worthy. Okay, so let's keep the partner away. Let's keep the finances away because he's not feeling worthy. Remember, the subconscious mind doesn't judge, it just executes. So if there are some bigger frames, make sure you find out what the bigger frame is your client is living in and make sure they can come out of the box. The frame is bigger. Because otherwise you can do a great session, but if there is a smaller frame, your session won't be successful. That's something else. So it's using hypnosis is a little bit magical because you can ask anything you would like to have, and as long as you get an honest answer, you can move forward. But you have to make sure you get an honest answer. So make sure you have rapport to whatever is providing you information with. If you make a connection, or if you have an intention to make a connection with the superconscious mind, I would suggest first you would go to a loving feeling, because everything is possible. I mean, good and bad, God and the devil. If you want to have a co-creation with something which is loving, which is caring, which is wise, for you to help, correct? So what can you do wrong with love? There's nothing to do wrong with that. When you go in self-hypnosis and you have the intention to make a connection with something special, make sure you feel loving, caring, friendship, warm, those nice feelings. And then off you go and make a connection with whatever you would like to have. but not from a sensation of depressed or fear, sadness. Okay. So, give me another question.
Thanks very much, Christophe.
Ah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Now, Justine, what is the time frame? How long?
I look like a ghost because my light doesn't work, and I keep on saying I'll fix it, but I don't even know how to fix it because it's a weird light.
It
I
looks
like
so cool. It looks so cool.
I like the energy of that ghost. I love it. Christophe, you said a word about the big things, the small things belong to big things. If Stephanie could clarify it, we would like to learn to spell the word associated with it. Is Stephanie still on?
You said something hollow? Hollow?
Hollow. HOLLOW. Is that?
No.
Like a hologram?
No. HOLON. Or is it?
Oh, hold on. Okay,
Hold on.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christophe, I really like to attend your sessions. I learned so much from it. And I find it so interesting that you talk about a lot about the spiritual. And I'm a scientist. I have a scientist brain. So everything you say, I fit into my scientific, frame. And truly, what I see you speaking about all the time is quantum mechanics. Everything is quantum mechanics. So when you talk about, people being in different places and feeling the same things, I think you said that. Or when you a world of possibilities, that's another principle of quantum mechanics. We have millions of realities. It is the one that we give attention to that manifests. That's the principle of quantum mechanics. Yeah, so I absolutely love it. It seems to fit, my frame of quantum mechanics. Everything that's mystical, is spiritual, is for me is very, very scientific. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not because we don't have a small device to measure consciousness or to measure energy that it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
That's
you're
important.
right. You see, we can't. A lot of these principles, of quantum mechanics, many of them, the ordinary person couldn't understand it. But it is what moves technology nowadays. We couldn't have a cell phone. We couldn't have GPS if we didn't have quantum mechanics. So we ordinary people who are not physicists, we don't quite understand. It's pretty much like electricity, isn't it? We don't quite understand how electricity is channeled to a plug on the wall, but we know it exists because if you put your finger there, you get a shock.
No, but our nervous system is the most wonderful biological computer you can have.
Yeah.
And it's based on electromagnetism.
Yeah.
I once had a client who already had anchor signals, so she was already able to go quickly in trance. And she phoned me and she said, "Well, Christophe, I would like to have another appointment because since a few days my left leg is lump. It's paralyzed. I can't move my left leg, which is quite difficult for me because I live in an apartment building and we don't have an elevator. I don't have a partner, so I have to rely on my neighbors to go to the store. said it doesn't hurt, but it's limiting me. So she said, can you give me an appointment, and I need to ask someone who will drive to you, because I can't drive. I said, you know what, that seems difficult to organize. Do you have a telephone with a headset with earplugs? So yeah, sure. So okay, give me a call back in a few minutes when you lie on bed or on a sofa with earbuds. So in a few minutes she rang me. I asked to go in trance to make a connection with the superconscious mind, and apparently she went to the hospital a few days before. She had a scanner, and she had no issue with her leg before the scanner, and when she came out of the scanner and this tube, she had the problem of a lump leg, of the paralyzed leg. So I asked superconscious mind whether the scanner has had anything to do with that, and she said yes, verbally. So I say, okay, superconscious mind, is there an entity which doesn't belong to her, which is causing the problem with the left leg? Yes, she said. So okay, is it male or female? She said, well, it's a woman. So okay, let's superconscious mind, let's help the woman. And the woman was helped, and I asked, well, superconscious mind, now that the woman is helped, can she be, she doesn't belong to my client, can she be taken somewhere loving and caring where she can evolve further, but not with my client? She said yes. Okay, let's do that. And instantly my client said, Christophe, I can feel my left leg again. Now, what happened? Someone passed away in the hospital, and the lady who passed away had an amputation of the left leg. Now, my client is really sensitive, so she could feel the presence of the person who was passed away and having a physical issue of that. Now, the doctors in the beginning, they made fun with her. They thought she was overreacting, but after a while, they had to say, okay, this is a real problem, but we have no idea what's going on. We cannot help you. But in a matter of minutes, she was helped on the phone, because if the entity was helped and moved to, how do you call it? Call it heaven, call it back to source, whatever you want. And from that moment on, her leg was not paralyzed anymore. So it's not because science cannot understand energy, it doesn't exist. It's not because science doesn't understand energy, we cannot have a physical issue from it. You see, there is room, there is a lot of room for new improvements, but it will take a lot of time before our community can accept energy exists, and there is something else which we might not see or sensate, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and there is no interaction between me and the energy. That's a big difference. I'm always open in my mind, and I say, okay, I don't know what's going on, but let's see if we can find out what's going on and do something with that. No?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stephanie.
Yeah, hi. Nice to see you, Christophe. I've got a bit of an unusual question, and I try to think of a very politically correct way of wording it. You probably get the gist of it, but what I'm what I want to ask you is about a pattern interrupt. So imagine that they are that there are, countries or the whole world being fed something again and again and again in a very repetitive manner. And it might not be the truth. But it becomes a belief, and then of course all the repetitive stuff is downloaded in their subconscious mind, and like you said earlier on, the subconscious mind will just do it. It will just deliver it. It wouldn't really question whether it's a good thing or bad thing, or whether it's true or not. How, if you know for well that they have been lied to and you know the truth, how or what does it take for them to actually remove that? Is it removing the frame, or how can they snap out of that mass hypnosis and actually see and the truth and what's going on there? What does it take? Is it sometimes I think it has to be somebody's personal hardship. It has to be a bit of a shock and a wake-up call. But what would you think would be a pattern interrupt?
5 words. The will to do it. The will to do it. When President Kennedy asked Werner von Braun what it will take to get a human being to the moon and safely back to Earth, Werner von Braun said the will to do it. Everything is possible, but you need to be open for it and willing to do it.
So you can't just snap them out of it. Like you wouldn't have it. I mean, thinking of, when, there might be some, where does it go now? You might be somebody under hypnosis and, and they might not know that they're under hypnosis, but they are, and they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. There's no way that you can lift it. It has to be that person who needs to have the will to do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So
listen, I will give you an example. My mother-in-law, she was quite open to alternative medicine. She had fibromyalgia for many years, and she was open to do other stuff. And then Corona came. She watched the television, not the whole day, but a lot. The Belgian television, the Dutch television, and always these talk shows. And all they did here on our local shows, they was discussing how bad Corona was and how dangerous it is the whole day long. Now, after a year, she was completely brainwashed. And she was full with fears. Extremely. I'm not vaccinated, so I'm not able anymore to visit my mother-in-law. No. I don't care that much because I don't want to sit there when someone is in fear. But for my children, it's kind of difficult because they can't see grandma anymore because they are also not vaccinated. And that is becoming a problem. Now the fear is extreme. So she has a problem with her saliva, a dry mouth, which is normal because the nervous system is always active and in stress modus. So her physical body goes. She completely deprives herself. So that is a good example of the media who is able to brainwash other people who were not anxious, and at a certain moment, after enough repetition, she became anxious. And I don't mean a little bit, I mean a lot. So because of the feeling of anxiousness, she stepped into a different reality. Now, I don't have a problem, but for example, for my wife or for my children, that and for herself, that's a big problem. Now, how do you interact with that, which is really difficult because the anxious feeling is dominant. And although she wants to step out of it, it has become so difficult for her, it's not possible anymore. Yeah? So she has trapped herself. My wife says, well, you're a hypnotist, hypnotize her so she can get rid of it. I'm saying that's not possible, because the will is, she has no will to change. And the only thing you can do is by repetition say everything is fine. I'm healthy, you are healthy. Repetition, repetition, this by the same strategy that our media used. That's the only thing we can do. But we don't have a remote control of someone else, so we can't shift something. We need the cooperation of the other person. The free will is stored with the subconscious mind. The free will is stored with the individual person, not with me. Although I would like to see a change in my mother-in-law's attitude, she has the free will. And that is difficult for us because we know it is possible. Stephanie.
So all we need is a few $1 million to pump into the advertising industry and get the good messages out there to override the fear mongering.
Basically, they're creating their reality. So we need to step back and let people experience what they're experiencing, whatever that may be.
In this case, the only thing we can do is have faith. Everything will be okay. And if I believe it enough, I will create a reality where my mother-in-law will have a shift. But if I cannot believe it, it will not happen. All is trust. You know, Stephanie, we do some weird stuff sometimes. I love to experiment. And at a certain moment, I had an experiment with Justine. She went in trance for me. And I asked if it would be possible to make a connection with an extraterrestrial which is so wise, which could give me some answers. So off she went. She went in trance, and suddenly there was a connection. She said, "Young man." I said, "Okay, young man. You have a question?" I said, "Yeah, I have lots of questions." I said, do you have a society? Yeah, we have a society. Not like yours, but hundreds of thousands of years ago, in your earthly years, we had wars too, fights, just like you. But we evolved, and now we do things differently. It's okay. And how did you do that? Faith. Yeah, trust. That is the one thing common in the universe. Just believe it. So it's okay. This is interesting. I have this problem with my arm. What I used to. I said, what can I do? There's nothing wrong with your arm, but you cannot believe your arm is healthy. So okay. But I'm a human. I mean, I have a human experience. For me, it's difficult to shift my belief and actually accept it. So that's your problem. Just believe it, and the problem will be poof, vaporized. Trust is your issue. That's okay. Thank you. See you next time. Next time, again. Young man, you have a question? Yeah, did I speak to you the last time? No, but we are connected. It's all of us. You are known as the young man. Young man, okay. Nice to meet you. You have a question? Yeah, I have lots of questions. Blah, 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 blah. It's trust. You lack trust. Make sure you believe your own belief and it will happen. That's it. That's simple. Why don't you do that? I don't know. I'm a human being. And I wanted to, I was saying something, I felt my mouth moving with another apology that we are a human being and it's so difficult for us living in a human experience and it's difficult for us to shift our belief. And it felt like I was in a moment outside of my body. And I watched to myself and I saw his lips moving. And I thought to myself, idiot, stop asking your stupid question. You are asking this question because you don't believe it. And bam, I was back in my physical body. And I felt the last words. And at the end of the sentence, I said, all of us, no need to clarify. I know because I just said the answer because I had a limiting belief. I don't trust. So, trust. Our level of trust needs to go up. And in the beginning, we are at 10%, and after a while, we are at 30, 40, 50, 60%. And it will take a while. But every percentage in trust which we can increase, we will benefit from. That is something I'm sure of, that I can trust. So it is up to us to actually believe that all will be well. And we will influence the ether and all will be well.
So, Christophe, this man has very strong religious, like he believes in Jesus and the power of healing and all of that. Would it work if I made a suggestion like, I don't know, or maybe even ask him directly or suggest to him that Jesus would heal this, to hand it over to Jesus to heal?
Dil, can you believe that Jesus accompanies you in your session?
Yes, I do believe that my clients, guides, and higher mind accompany me. I do.
And if Jesus is present in your session, is it a wow effect for your client to push that little barrier in order for him to believe something special is going on?
Sorry, can you say that again?
If he can experience Jesus in the session, is it enough for him to be convinced something special is going on?
Yes, so should I be saying that Jesus is present in our session? Because I'm believing that.
I ask this question for your client. Imagine if everything is possible and Jesus is present in your session.
Okay.
Will it be convincing enough for your client in order for creating a wow effect? Yes or no?
Yes.
So give it a shot. Try it. I have had sessions where people actually could feel Jesus' long hair. I had sessions where a doctor came in and they actually could feel performing surgery on them. Is it true? Is it not true? I don't know. It's like the show hypnosis with the little monkey. But it's a positive hallucination. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'm not seeing the surgeon. But if they have the experience of having surgery, it must be true for them. And I don't care. And I'm not judging. But I want my client to be healthy. And if it takes this in order for creating this wow effect, in order for my client believe something is happening, let's do it. But
So
make sure you believe it.
Oh, I do believe it, but I mean, I don't believe that Jesus himself will be there. But I do.
There is your limited belief.
No, but I do believe I do
No,
believe that
this is not to be taken lightly. This is serious stuff. Do you believe it or not?
that
Because
Jesus
otherwise
himself will be there. No, I don't believe that.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Only do it if you believe it.
Well, I would do it because that would help my client, or that would.
No, because
That he
you
believes.
intervene with the substance and you influence it because you have a limited belief. It's not possible.
Okay.
First work on your belief. It's possible, and then do it. Not the other way around.
Okay.
We only accept the things we can experience with our senses, the things we can see, the things we can touch, the things we can hear. It provides us with proof, with information, and we accept it. So, well, okay, this must be true because I can see it. But it's the other way around. First, you need to believe it, and then it will manifest. And that is the big issue for us. And that's why the extraterrestrial was saying to me, slapping in my face, believe it. The next time, slapping in my face, believe it. Do you believe it or not?
So considering that I don't believe that Jesus will actually be present in the session, could I say that I'm inviting, because that might work for me, that I'm inviting Jesus to join us in the session? Would that
Everything
help?
is possible. Everything is possible. It depends on the level of trance of your client. If he is in deep somnambulism or is he in the SDL state, no worries. Jesus will be there. But make sure you believe it, because otherwise you will step into a reality where your client, you have two extremes, successful session, no successful session. Yes, everything is possible. In which reality you, as a therapist, would like to step into?
So my beliefs extend to the fact that I can invite an energy to join us, but I'm never sure whether they're actually there or not.
No, but as long as your client has the experience, that matters.
Okay.
But make sure every single day you go in self-hypnosis if you're able to. Are you able to go in self-hypnosis?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Go in self-hypnosis and make sure you shift your limiting beliefs. Open your mind. Connect to whatever it is, loving, caring, wise. Once you can actually feel this as an attitude, you will do other sessions.
Thank you, Christophe. That's very helpful. Thank you.
This is why Justine is organizing these talks. Not for me, because I'm a nobody, but for she invites other famous people just to open your mind. Take it from this perspective, take it from that perspective. I'm just saying everything is possible. Yeah. I love you all. You're wonderful, wonderful persons. Your mind, you're interested, and
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christophe. As
you're
always,
welcome. You're welcome.
had an awesome night.
We can only have an interesting evening if we interact with each other. Otherwise, it would be boring.
So Christophe, if people do want to hook up with you,
Okay.
how do they contact you? Versus laughing.
I have to. It gives a different connotation.
Always. That's why I said it. I said it. Easy.
Yeah, but English is a second language.
He gets it.
Okay.
Yeah, so how do people contact you, Christophe?
Well, you can find me on Facebook or the Messenger under I will type it. Christophe is my first name, and on Facebook you can find me like this, een beter plan, which is Dutch for a better plan. Now, I'm not in politics, but you can find me. And if you want to email me, it's info@beterplan.be. BE is for Belgium. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And I will see you.
I wish you all a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Christophe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice
Bye,
to see you
Christophe from the
again.
dark. See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.